You're about to hear what Joe and Dave Portnoy think about Elon Musk. Now, I have a different type of take on why Elon has bought Twitter and why he's released Chatgpt almost at the same time kind of thing, and then with Neuralink coming out. But check out what they think about Elon. Let's get into it. Coach Colin here, coolest high-performance coach in the world. Smash that subscribe button if you want the absolute best insights to the podcast you love. Let's go.
Right, it has nothing.
100%.
I mean, there's no social media platform. I mean, there's people that are trying to accuse Elon Musk of being right-wing, but I think that's just because Elon Musk has said the Democrats are out of their fucking minds.
He's said what I've said in many different ways. Now, I don't know how I go back and forth on how I feel about Elon. Sometimes I think he's genius. Other times, like, he may be getting a little full of himself. Like, I don't think he bought Twitter for the reasons he's saying he did, to be some great humanitarian. I think he bought it because he got mad almost, and then he tried to get out of it. But that's the other thing. Like, stop complaining on the left. He tried to withdraw from buying Twitter, and the CEO or whatever stuck him to the price because it made money, and they got a great price. So
they got a ridiculous price.
Ridiculous.
He gave them way more than it's worth, and he had a mindset of going into it. There was two things going on. One, he believed that it's very bad for democracy in general when you have suppression of free speech. And I agree with that. He really means that. And he sees it happening to him, right? And so he sees it happening to people that he knows and people whose voices he's respected. And he saw that, like, the Babylon Bee got banned.
Which is crazy.
Crazy. For calling Rachel Levine the man of the year.
Yeah,
a biological male. Calling him the male of the year, like
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's so offensive.
The Babylon Bee getting kicked off, crazy. Yes.
Yeah, so he was like, well, that's enough. And then the reason why he tried to pull out of it, he's like, they're not giving me data on the actual amount of fake accounts.
Correct.
There was a former FBI guy. Pull up that story, Jamie. This former FBI guy estimated the actual amount of fake accounts on Twitter, and he was like, it could be as high as 80%. So if you're buying something, and they say, well, it's 95% people, it's 5% bots, but we're trying to figure that out. And he's like, how are you trying to figure that out? Show me. And they won't show him. And he's like, show me your data that shows you. And they show him 100 accounts. They went over 100 accounts. Over 80% of Twitter accounts are likely bots, former FBI security specialist, which is fucking wild. So if that's like 20% of the people on Twitter are actual humans and 80% of it is propaganda, either by publicity firms or super PACs or whoever the fuck is trying to manipulate narratives. And one of the things that you saw with Elon was, like, there's a bunch of tweets that people retweeted. They're from wildly different accounts that were all the exact same tweet. And he's like, these are bots. Like, these are.
There's 1,000% bots.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through a phase like you. I couldn't even, if I posted something, it was all bots. 100%. So I don't there's 1,000,000% bots. They probably weren't giving the right information, but he did want to pull out.
Well, I think if they found out that information, Twitter would be worth substantially less.
Right.
And that's also what he was trying to do. I think he's trying to probably talk them into a better price, because if you find out that a company is 95% horseshit,
right,
or 80% horseshit, and 20% what they say it is, like, if that gets out,
but
that's
he also
devastating to the company.
100%. He also has such fuck you money, though. He was upset about the suppressing, and I'd probably be the same way if I had that type of money. It's like, I'm just gonna fucking buy you, like, and that's essentially what he did. And I do think, like you said, the bots and going back and forth, he wanted to get out. That's the one thing, though, the Twitter approach where everyone's like, I'm going to get off my dad.
Bro, this guy doesn't finish a sentence. Like, I'm trying to make a proper clip here, and he's just like, this is a sentence to a sentence. What was that? That was crazy. But, okay, so here's what I think is the reason that Elon Musk bought Twitter, okay? So, he releases Neuralink, or he hasn't released it, but he's working on it. He says one day that we're going to be able to talk without actually speaking. That's what Neuralink is going to provide, right? So he buys Twitter because that would be the perfect type of network for all of us to communicate on and not have to speak. Basically, I'd be able to tweet something to you. You'd be able to tweet something to me. the tweets would become like thoughts back and forth, because that's what tweets are right now. They're your thoughts. You just type them out on a keyboard. You don't say them from your mind, right? But you do say them from your mind before you get to the keyboard. All right. So that's Twitter. That's why he bought that, because that's going to be the place where we talk. Then releases Chatgpt, which means that he was working on this Chatgpt thing beforehand. Okay? What is the perfect thing? They haven't done it yet, but what's the perfect thing for ChatGTP to use in order to become better at speaking, better at understanding cultural norms, and better at, like, you know, showing personalities of different of different types? Well, you link that thing up to Twitter. Boom. Once that thing downloads everything from Twitter, now all of a sudden it's way more powerful. It understands us on a different level. It'll be able to communicate with us better. It'll be able to have different types of emotions, or at least, you know, show different types of emotions. It will all of a sudden understand people on a completely different level. Not only that, it'll have so much access to not just information, but like I said before, cultural knowledge, memes. It will understand how people work. It'll understand how people deal in conflict. It'll understand it on such a deeper level, because you can go to history and understand that. But Twitter is going to show you a more real-time, current form of that. Okay? So now we have Twitter, we have ChatGPT, and then we have, what was the third thing? Neuralink. So now, for everybody who has Neuralink, the search engine of Neuralink would be ChatGPT, GPT. That would now be in your head, right? You'd be able to tweet back and forth without speaking, and anything that you needed to know, you would ask ChatGPT, but you would ask it within your head. It would be like the Google Chrome of your mind, basically, right? Now, why does he buy Twitter? Another reason. And why did he want to know how many bots there are? Because if it's mostly bots, then it doesn't, that's why he wanted to withdraw. If it's mostly bots, then how can ChatGPT really learn about human behavior from Twitter? It can't, because it's just learning from bots. Bots teaching bots is just like, that's like the blind leading the blind in terms of like how human beings work, right? Because now ChatGPT would just be learning a bunch of like how bots interact, how bots say things. That's not beneficial. He needs it to learn from human beings, which is another reason why it's been released, because now we're typing into it, we're teaching it, we're editing, we're doing the work, we're teaching it everything it needs to know, mostly in terms of human interaction, how humans ask questions, why they ask questions. So I think those three things together, I think that's the reason that he bought Twitter. He needed Twitter to teach ChatGPT, and he needed Twitter in order to have a network of which Neuralink is going to operate on in terms of communication, social communication. I think all those reasons together are why he bought it. That's my conspiracy rant, and I will take off my tinfoil hat now and get back to the regular scheduled programming. I'm out.